What's up, guys? Duster McDangle's back here with another video, and this is a new type of series we will be bringing to the channel here over the summer and see how things go just with the Stanley Cup playoffs heating up. And today's topic is, do fans really make a difference in the playoffs? And I mean, it's just nice that with COVID standards and all that stuff is restrictions removed from states, that it's basically allowing more fans to go to games. And does that really make an impact in playoff hockey or hockey in general? We're going to get into that today, as well as take a look and see where these series are at. Obviously, things are going pretty good for a couple teams, and a couple other teams need to make adjustments. So if you guys are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button and also comment down below. Let's get in the comments. I want to have some conversations with you guys about what you guys think on this topic, as well as if you agree, if you don't. Again, everyone has different opinions, and I want to hear those out in the comments. So let's get into it, guys. So one of the biggest things, obviously, that we notice is when you are comparing last year's playoffs to this year's playoffs, obviously it is a little bit different of an atmosphere when it comes to, we had the playoff bubble last year with Toronto and Edmonton, and then obviously with the Cup finals in Edmonton and conference finals. Now basically almost a little bit more normal with things being on their home sheets. So back and forth, obviously a 7-game series in one arena like it was last year. Didn't really get the difference. Only a change of locker rooms and a change of jersey colors was the only difference in the games, whereas this year, obviously COVID restrictions earlier in the season, no fans, obviously, as COVID is coming hopefully to a close here, that again things are going to be lifted here a little bit more, as we see with Carolina the other night with a massive crowd, 11,000, 12,000 fans. Other stadiums now getting 25, 50% capacity, as we saw in Pittsburgh, and we'll see in Boston and the Capitals. All those arenas starting to get fans back. And does it really make a difference? And the short answer to that is, I would say yes. Not only for the home team, and you get buzzing and you get the goosebumps, and not only that, big plays in the game such as big hits or big saves or big goals. I mean, it's all going to make a difference with the fans there. It'll get the juices pumping. And even for the away team, if you make a big hit, if you can silence the crowd, you get a goal to silence the crowd if they were buzzing during a long stretch of where you're getting dominated by the home team. It really is going to make a difference in the outcome of the game and in the make of the game. If you're the away team, you get a goal, silence the crowd, maybe you'll get the home team off of their game, and it really does have effect. And obviously we can see in the playoffs here that game in Carolina as an example one of massive crowd. We also had Vegas the other night with a massive crowd. So I mean, it's awesome stuff to see. I'm really happy we're finally getting fans back in. It makes it feel like, obviously we've had real hockey all year, but just in the playoffs it makes it that much more special with getting those fans back, having those experiences not only in person as a fan. It's awesome. I'm really happy to see it, but as a player as well, you're experiencing that again. Almost every player is getting to experience it again, almost for the first time, getting those goosebumps. And it's really cool to see a lot of these players just so amped up now, especially Carolina the other night with just a massive crowd. So that leads me to the next point. I know obviously COVID is a very serious matter, and obviously we don't want anybody getting COVID or getting sick, but just with things coming out now with the vaccine, and obviously things are getting a little bit better in regards to COVID. Again, we still have to take precaution, wear masks, all that good stuff. I know social distancing is going to be a little tough the more you get fans in, but if you're doing all the right things with masks and all that good stuff, I mean, it really is going to help for sure make it as safe as you can be. Obviously, in person, indoors, there's always going to be the risk factor, but at least from a hockey fan's perspective, it is really nice to get everyone back in the arena. Obviously, it's not up to 100%, but again, it makes for great hockey, makes for a great atmosphere, and in the long run, I think it really is going to have a big impact on these games throughout the playoffs this year. So I can't wait to continue on watching these great games. I mean, we've had some battles already with Florida and Tampa Bay, and the other night I know there's a big brawl with St. Louis and the Avalanche, and I mean, we're going to have the Canadian series starting up, Toronto, Montreal. Obviously in Canada is going to be a little different I know Montreal, we'll get to it in just a minute, but Montreal is going to allow about 2,500 fans, and I know Canada's restrictions are a little bit different than America's, so fans up there, obviously it sucks that if your team doesn't have fans, it might have negative effect on getting the juices flowing, getting some momentum. Big hit, obviously the players are going to understand, like, yeah, big hit's going to make a difference, but when you have the fans behind you and making the noise and getting you amped, it really is going to give you that extra push. So for the Canadian teams, we'll see. Obviously Montreal trying to get things going. I believe it was going to be 2,500 fans. I don't know if it's going to be for game 3 and 4 since they're in Toronto first, but the first couple of games in Toronto, as of right now, there's not going to be any fans. So it will be interesting to see how things play out there. But let's get into a few articles here just for backup references, as well as look at some of the playoff standings right now. Again, this video is coming out Friday. These standings will be a little changed after Thursday night, but we want to take a look at this and see some of these articles and some of the numbers here, just to take a look at this and further expand upon this observation, my opinion. Obviously, I want to hear what you guys have to say down below in the comments as to what you think. Do fans make a difference? Do they really have an impact on the game, or is it just really nice to have them there? It makes for a good experience and no impact on the game. I don't know if anyone is going to say that it doesn't. It is going to have at least some impact. So let's get into some of the numbers here. So as you guys can see here, this article is a little bit older. It was back on April. Obviously, we're in May now, May 19th. So it is a little old, but we have a few things here with seating charts. Obviously, we get arena capacities, and again, these numbers are going to be a little different here on this right-hand side. Obviously 20%, a lot of arenas were at that point of having 20% capacity, so anywhere from around 2,000 to 4,000 fans. Some arenas that's a little more, some arenas that's going to be a little less. Obviously here in Carolina the other night, we have it where Hurricanes are able to add more fans. Obviously NHL bumps playoff capacity to 12,000, and I mean, it made a difference. Obviously, they won the game 5-2. It was a good battle. Nashville actually got the scoring started off, and I saw that the other night, and I was like, man, Nashville can hold on here. They might be able to keep the crowd quiet and win this game, but obviously Carolina was able to pull through, come back in that one, and have a big win 5-2 to take that. I think at that point it was 1-0 series lead. So yeah, as you can see here, NHL on Sunday, the league agreed to bump the capacity at PNC Arena from 11,000 to 12,000. I don't know why that 1,000 extra fans would make a big difference. That's up from 6,000 Hurricanes were planned to host before the state of North Carolina lifted capacity of regulations on Friday. So that is going to be huge, where it'll be different with each team in each state because every state has different regulations. So Carolina has a huge advantage right now of 12,000 fans, whereas maybe in Nashville, I don't know as of right now what those restrictions are in Tennessee, but in Nashville, maybe they only have 4,000 fans. Let's actually take a look here. Back in April, Nashville only had 2,625, so 15% capacity. I don't know what that capacity is going to be for games 3 and 4 in Nashville, but again, it could be a huge difference between 12,000 versus 2,000 fans. Obviously, you're going to have a little bit more noise, as we saw the other night in Carolina, than it would be in Nashville. And again, it's going to be like that in all of these different series here, guys. So as of right now, the series is going to look a little different with the scores, but the home teams, obviously Pittsburgh, they're trying to bump it up to 50% capacity, which again, that would be huge for them. Colorado, I'm not too sure what it's looking like out in Colorado. Obviously Vegas, we saw the other night that their capacity was absolutely bonkers, and it was a great atmosphere. Obviously a great game, big goals, back and forth hockey game, but in the end, the Golden Knights really fed off that crowd, I believe, to win game 2. So that was big. Obviously Carolina, Nashville, we've already touched upon that. And down here, this battle between Florida and Tampa Bay, I mean, it is 2-0 Tampa. They really have shown that they're still Stanley Cup champions and that they're here to defend their cup, with obviously the addition to Kucherov and Stamkos getting back off of long-term basically long-term injured reserve, so that they don't affect their cap. So getting them back, I was thinking, hey, Florida all the way, and I totally forgot that Kucherov and Stamkos were coming back. So Tampa, who knows? They are a 3 seed, so that might affect them having that lack of home ice advantage throughout the playoffs, especially if they run into Carolina here in the next series, depending on if each of those teams win their respective series. But really is going to be interesting to see if Tampa Bay can really hold up and continue on with their dominance, really. As we also look here, Capitals, Bruins. Obviously, Caps have fans. I don't know what it's going to be like in Boston for the playoffs, because for the Boston Bruins back in April, they had 12% capacity. I think they're trying, I've seen it on different things, 25%, 50%. It's going to depend on state regulations. Again, with COVID restrictions being loosened per state, it's going to vary per state. So, and then we've got Canada on the left-hand side, guys. We've got the Montreal and Toronto. Again, Montreal trying to get 2,500 fans, so some are better than none. And then for Edmonton and the Jets, I don't know as of right now what they have going for fans. Let's take a look here. Edmonton, obviously none. And then Winnipeg, they had no fans. So, we could do a quick little search right here and look and see what they do have going for them here. So let's find out. So as we can see here, as of a few hours ago, again, might be a little late, but Manitoba not ready to let Oilers, Jets fans watch playoff games in person. So again, Canada is going to be a little different with their restrictions on fans being allowed back in the arenas. So again, it's going to be a different feel for those Canadian series. Obviously, if Montreal can get the 2,500 fans, again, some are better than none. But again, in my personal opinion, obviously it's my opinion, I want to hear what you guys say. Fans make a huge difference in the playoffs. Really, at the end of the day, you can't go wrong with fans. Especially, again, you make a big save, you get a big goal, a big hit, a big fight, whatever it might be. Especially if you're the home team, you're really going to feed off the crowd and get some momentum. Maybe it's the third period, you're down a goal, big hit, fans get bumping, your team gets bumping, and next thing you know, you bury a goal, you bury 2 goals, and the momentum's climbing. We saw it the other night with Vegas. It was a tight game there. They had the 1-goal lead going in. Alex Tuck goes down, buries, basically seals the deal. Crowd goes wild, team feeds off that. So again, we're going to see throughout the playoffs, and the further we get into the playoffs as well, we're going to get a little bit more updates on restrictions lifting. Again, whoever is still in the playoffs by the time we get to the conference finals, I feel like we'll be around that 50% mark, again, depending per state. But again, it's going to make for a great experience, not only for fans who go to the games, but for fans watching on TV. It'll be nice to see the crowd and the players feeding off of the crowd. It's really going to boost not only the pace of play, the way it is played, but honestly, the rivalries are going to be more intense. Obviously, we're seeing that now with Tampa Bay and Florida, the crowd just feeding off that. We saw it the other night with the Avalanche and Blues. We saw it with the Penguins and Islanders, with Tanev crashing the net. Big scrum there, and Tanev got back up after being hurt and got into the scrum, and the fans loved it. And at the end of the day, Pittsburgh won that game. I don't know if they fed off that moment, but again, it got the crowd buzzing, got both teams buzzing, and again, that's just going to make for great hockey. So honestly, can't go wrong with fans. Obviously, we want to stay safe in COVID time here. Again, making sure we follow regulations and everything that each arena has set with masks, socially distancing, all that good stuff. Obviously, the more fans we get, it'll be harder to do, but as long as we do our best to follow those restrictions and guidelines, it's the safest we're going to get. So let me know what you guys think down below, if fans do indeed make a difference in the game of hockey. Not only the game of hockey, but as of right now here, these playoffs, if they do really make a difference. I want to know what you guys think, as well as comment down below what playoff series you're enjoying the most. Is it Tampa Bay, Florida? Is it the Blues and Avalanche? Is it Pittsburgh and Islanders? Is it the Bruins and Caps? Are you super excited to finally get the Canadian teams in it with Toronto, Montreal? We haven't seen that since the 70s. So again, drop comments down below, not only about the topic today, but about the playoffs in general. We'll get a good conversation going, and I really do look forward to it, guys. So we'll make sure we keep this series going here. I'm really going to enjoy this moving forward, and having conversations with you guys, basically throwing out my ideas, throwing out my opinions, and seeing what you guys say. It's always nice to get some communication going with you guys, as well as get some good hockey talk out. Obviously, I'm not an expert, just a fan, as well as you guys are, but we'll have fun doing it. But that's going to be it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy it, be sure to drop a like on it. I hope you guys have a good one, and as always, stay dusty.